Today on Forbes, with billionaire backers in tow, crypto's fastest growing startup mints the world's youngest self-made billionaire. At 27 years old, Shayne Coplan has become the world's youngest self-made billionaire. His estimated 11% stake in Polymarket, the blockchain-based prediction platform he founded in 2020, is now worth at least $1 billion. New York Stock Exchange parent company, Intercontinental Exchange, also known as ICE, announced it poured $2 billion into the firm at a $9 billion valuation, in exchange for a 20% stake, according to PitchBook. The deal caps a meteoric ascent for Polymarket, which was valued at just $1.2 billion earlier this year, and has quietly become crypto's fastest-growing startup. Rob Haddock, general partner at venture capital firm Dragonfly, which is invested in Polymarket, says, quote, "This is the fastest and largest valuation growth that we've seen in crypto." Coplan also revealed two previously undisclosed funding rounds totaling $205 million that drew a billionaire-studded roster of backers. In addition to early investors Airbnb co-founder Joe Gebbia, whose net worth is $7.6 billion, and Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin, the new rounds brought on Figma co-founder Dylan Field, whose net worth is $3.7 billion, Zynga co-founder Mark Pincus, whose net worth is $1.5 billion, Uber's Travis Kalanick, worth $3.6 billion, and hedge fund veteran Glenn Dubin, worth $2.9 billion, as well as Peter Thiel's Founders Fund and Coinbase, co-founded and run by CEO Brian Armstrong, worth $16.2 billion. Even Philadelphia Eagles star running back Saquon Barkley became an angel investor in Polymarket last year. Alongside its investment, ICE will become the, quote, global distributor of Polymarket's event-driven data, and has agreed, quote, to partner on future tokenization initiatives, helping bring prediction markets and crypto into the financial mainstream, according to a press release last week. Polymarket and ICE declined to provide additional details, but said they will be shared during ICE's Q3 earnings call on October 30th. Dragonfly's managing partner, Hasib Qureshi, says, quote, "Many hedge funds already use Polymarket odds as inputs into their models. Now those odds will flow through institutional rails and gather even more liquidity and pricing signals." Coplan launched Polymarket out of his New York City apartment in March 2020, at the height of the pandemic. A lifelong tinkerer who began experimenting with crypto at 14, he drew inspiration from early Ethereum-based prediction markets Augur and Gnosis, both of which never gained much traction. Qureshi, who is also an early backer of Augur, credits Polymarket with turning prediction markets from a niche experiment into a mainstream cultural phenomenon. Coplan previously told Forbes that he founded Polymarket to be a, quote, trusted information source, particularly to solve the, quote, rampant misinformation around the pandemic. His first markets centered on COVID-related questions, when the city would reopen, or whether a vaccine would be ready by a certain date. But Polymarket's ascent over the last 5 years hasn't come without turbulence. In January 2022, the company paid a $1.4 million fine to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission for offering unregistered markets and was ordered to block U.S. users. Yet activity on Polymarket only accelerated, culminating in $3.6 billion of trading volume during the U.S. presidential election last year. A week after the election, the FBI raided Coplan's apartment and seized his devices as part of an investigation into potential violations of the CFTC agreement. In July this year, the CFTC and the Department of Justice dropped their investigations, and a week later, Polymarket announced its $112 million acquisition of QCX, a CFTC-licensed derivatives exchange, paving the way for a compliant domestic launch. In September, the CFTC greenlit the launch, just days after Donald Trump Jr. invested in and joined Polymarket's advisory board through 1789 Capital, the venture firm where he is a partner. As regulation under the current administration has loosened in favor of prediction markets and crypto, Polymarket and its competitors have been seizing the moment and deepening their ties to Washington. In addition to Trump Jr., ICE CEO Jeffrey Sprecher, whose net worth is $1.2 billion, and his wife, Kelly Loeffler, a former ICE executive, former U.S. Senator, and current head of the U.S. Small Business Administration, are also prominent Trump allies. For full coverage, check out Alicia Park and Nina Bambasheva's piece on Forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.